to talk a little bit more about single tables before we move on to our multiple tables. So we're going to start off by talking about the group by query, which you were already introduced to inside of the homework. So here it goes. That's the slide we're on. So basically, the group by is something that we need in order to deal with any aggregate functions. So as a reminder, that's when we're doing the counts, we're doing sums, min, max, average, stuff like that. We're doing math stuff with the aggregate function. And so what happens is that you end up having, multiple attributes in your select line, and some of them aren't going to be aggregated. And so anything that's listed in the select line that does not get aggregated needs to be dropped down into this group by line. So as it says here, single biggest mistake that people make is forgetting to do that. And then you get mad. Okay, so actually a little bit. Okay, so for our example, we're going to, for each product finish, retrieve the finish number of products with that finish and their average price. And again, this example is from the Pine Valley Furniture database, which we've seen before as our example. And here you can see that the count as, or the count asterisk is an aggregated function on the whole table thing. So it's going to pick up every query or every record inside of it. It's going to count them all for us. It's going to give us the average price, and we've got our lovely naming stuff if it's easier for you to see. Sometimes I like to do that so you can kind of, not that. There we go. So we can see that we're doing the count. We're naming it something pretty. We're getting the average. We're naming it something pretty. And we've got this product finish, which is not aggregated. So we need to bring that down here. So what does that look like? Okay, so when we bring it over here into Access, so product finish is our one that we're not going to have it aggravated. You run that, and that is the grouping function over here on the product finish. So all of the birches, we've got 3. You can go over here and go, okay, birch 1, birch 2, birch 3. The average price of those is 3 something, 8 something, and 2 something is 4 something. Okay, so pretty simple. It's mostly just remembering to do that is the thing that people forget. Just as a side note, if you thought stuff was safe, your data was safe in queries, like safe from accidentally typing over things, stuff like that, they're not. Not usually. So in this is one instance where you can't actually change any of the data in here. Like you can't change this. It's just going to give you beepy noises telling you can't do it. But if we were just pulling up the product finishes by themselves, well, let's pull up the product ID in here with it so we can see. So if we run that, you can actually change that. Oh, it's not gonna do that because that's open. And you can see, look, that changed. So that's something to be aware of when you're in your queries, is that there's no safety on there for you. Only in the aggravated functions are they going to be safe from you tampering with it accidentally. So keep that in mind. Okay, so the next step for us to go for after mastering the group by function. So we were here, copy paste that over. Oops. These, put that in for my enters earlier. Okay, so we have these, the select there that we had from last time. Now, if we want to apply a condition to a group by function, we can also do that using having. So this pretty much acts exactly like where, but you're just going to be able to put it on a grouped function. So for example, we can add something like this, having. So let's take it off first real quick. Going to copy that. All right, so when we run this, we have 6 results. Okay, so we have the lowest price is 281 down here. Our highest price is here, the 733. Now we can do something like this where we're having where the average standard price, which is this line here, is greater than 600. Okay, so we run this and we got rid of 4 of the responses, and we just have the stuff that's over 600. So that acts exactly like how we did it before. Notice that this used this, not our fancy pretty name that we renamed the top of the column. It doesn't care about aliases. It cares about the beginning part of it. So what if we wanted to do a where clause in that as well? Well, you can. I'm going to actually drop some lines in here for visibility. You can do that too. So where does that go? It goes where it would normally go. So it's select from where. And so here I'm going to actually, I'm going to drop that back down so you get more results. So here I'm going to, if you remember the product table, there's actually this one over here where we've got a photo. So what I'm going to tell it to do is to select the stuff where that everything but that line. So we're going to exclude the photo, not null. So we're selecting everything that is null. And we're going to do this same thing. Everything else is exactly the same there. There we go. So you can run stuff like this, and you can test out that is null and is not null on your own. But they can combine together to create more complex queries than what we've seen before. So the where clause will not work after the grouping function. It is like a timed thing. It looks at, okay, I'm pulling from these tables. These are the columns I'm pulling from. I do the where thing. I do this condition, and then I group stuff together, and then I do more conditions based on the having. So you've got to remember that order of operations. Pro tip, if you're looking at complex stuff like this, is kind of break it down and like run this without the having first, just to make sure that like, yep, that runs, you know, and I can see like it's got the 300 and all that kind of stuff in there. Then you throw on more conditions, and then you run it again. You go, okay, now those are excluded. That's what I expected. All right. So that wraps up everything from the single tables. Are there more things you can learn? Are there more queries out there in the world that are related to just the single tables? Of course, we did not cover everything under the sun. This is generally enough to get done what you need to get done. Kind of a high level course. This is not 10 weeks of SQL. So you may still run into things that we did not cover. But hopefully this will get you through your projects at least. All right.